It would be the largest supermarket merger ever, a super merger, if you will. Albertsons and Kroger, known as Fred Meyer in our part of the country, they want to join forces to compete with other supermarket giants. Think Walmart and Costco. But during a time when the cost of groceries is top of mind for most families, it's also the primary focus of a federal lawsuit to stop the deal. That case began today in a federal courtroom in Portland and is set to run for about 3 weeks. Today, day one, Joe Parrish, you've been following it, well, most of the day. Did they really say they didn't want part of this deal?
Okay, so I think there's some nuance here that needs to be talked about.
Okay.
And Albertsons is also talking about survival. So the reason why this is so crucial right now is the future of both companies could be on the hook over the next 3 weeks. So let me explain a little bit more. What the court decides in the next 3 weeks could greatly impact this deal, happening or not. And it is a proposed $24.6 billion deal. And Kroger and Albertsons, they, at this point, want the deal for a collection of reasons, but say that they need it to compete with entities like Amazon, Walmart, Costco, things like that. Federal government, they stepped in after the prospective deal was announced back in 2022. Federal Trade Commission says that the merger between the grocery chains would eliminate competition, it would bring up prices, it would negatively impact workers and conditions. So the legal battle right now is if the FTC can get a pause on the deal, preliminary injunction, and if that happens, the FTC will continue with their traditional internal judicial analysis and system to decide if the deal is good or not. If there is an injunction, it may be the swan song for this deal. The FTC system can take months, more than a year. And at that point, Kroger and Albertsons may just decide it's easier just to walk away from all of this. Counsel specifically for Albertsons made arguments, though, about this being about survival.
Now, if you ask the people at Albertsons, do you want to merge with Kroger? And if you ask that question in a vacuum, they would say, no, of course not. Who would want to be the company being acquired? This is a company that was founded in 1939 and still bears the name of its founder, Joe Albertson. And some of their banners have been around even longer, 160 years. But if you can't even buy the Kraft mac and cheese for the price that Walmart sells it at, there's a limit to what you're going to be able to do. And so after taking a look at all of their options, Albertsons reluctantly made clear to the market that it was interested in strategic partnerships.
So what if the judge in this case rules that, sure, let's pause the sale? Well, Albertsons legal counsel says that in terms of the impacts, they'd be pretty great.
And this point goes directly to one of the issues Your Honor must consider, whether issuing an injunction would be in the public interest. And here, it would not be in the public interest, Your Honor, because Albertsons' backup plan, if the merger were enjoined, would be worse for consumers, worse for employees, and worse for competition.
So trial will go for about 3 weeks, and major players like the CEOs of the companies are expected to appear in federal court. And Brian, keep in mind that there are a lot of legal battles going on with this merger right now. There are individual lawsuits from different states. At the same time, the companies, Kroger and Albertsons, they filed a lawsuit saying that this whole FTC thing is actually unconstitutional. So bottom line here, the takeaway should be that this current trial that'll go for about 3 weeks is really going to be the scene setter for if the deal can even survive.
They mentioned it would be not beneficial to consumers. Did they mention why? Because I know they were worried about this monopoly situation when it comes to this merger. Why would it be bad for consumers if this deal went away?
So the argument is that in the way that it's working right now in markets that Albertsons is in, it could be bad for people in the sense that they can't compete. The grocery stores can't compete with things like Amazon, things like Walmart. So your local grocery, it may not be able to survive. And when businesses are threatened, they have to change business models. And that could, again, end up with lower options at the market, different wages, different conditions.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it goes both sides. So we'll see how this plays out in 3 weeks.
All right. Thank you very much, Joe.